Brian, and the listening audience.
All right, Colonel, first off, I know you're running for the 22nd District in Florida, and you picked up the endorsement of a very powerful former governor of Alaska, Governor Palin. What has that meant for you?
Oh, it's meant so much as far as the national exposure. The momentum of our campaign continues to grow. Having her backing has really endeared us even more so to the grassroots, the Tea Party movement, which has very well embraced us anyhow. But it has also made the left and the liberals down here in Broward County very nervous. And it even made my opponent nervous because we were able to intercept one of his email fundraising letters saying that, Sarah Palin and Allen West are coming to get me, so please send me money because they'll be campaigning hard to unseat me.
All right, Colonel, this is your opponent in the Republican primary of whom you speak.
Oh, no, this is the Democrat incumbent, Congressman Ron Klein, of whom I
all right, so you pretty much have the Republican nomination. You don't have a primary race like Rubio and Crist do.
Oh, no, nothing like that, absolutely not. So we have our sights totally set on Congressman Ron Klein, who is really feeling the pressure.
You beat him by 10 points. You lost to him by 10 points. You came out of nowhere. He outspent you 4-1. You got within 10 points. What have you done to close the gap?
Well, the greatest thing is, now I have time. I got back out of Afghanistan. I had like an 8-month campaign, my $500,000 against his $2.3 million. So the fact that we have had the entire year of 2009, the fact that we are able to be on shows such as yours that give me a national platform for our voice and for what we stand for, the principles that make this country great, has really helped us to close that gap. And in October to November, we actually beat him on fundraising, and he's going to get a surprise when the January through March numbers come out as well.
The Tea Party movement, with which, as you know, I have a lot of familiarity and personal involvement, has welcomed you with open arms. You are a conservative Republican African American. Some people say the Tea Party movement is racist. What do you say about that?
Well, I think that once again is the liberal left trying to suppress the voices of the American people with the R-word stigma. And when you look at the history of the Democrat Party, they have no grounds to talk about racism. You go back and you understand slavery, secession, segregation. You understand that the KKK was formed as the terrorist wing of the Democratic Party. Some of the terrible things that have happened as far as lynching and violence. And you bring it to today, where we see the dishonest tyranny of the left with their liberal social welfare programs that are really suppressing and keeping the black community in what I call the 21st century plantation. The real racist voice comes from the Democrat Party. And not too long ago, Senator Majority Leader Harry Reid came out with his light-skinned, non-Negro dialect comment. And it was amazing that everyone on the left gave him a pass, but yet when it comes to people standing up about, wanting less government, wanting lower taxes, wanting the American people to be empowered and not enslaved, all of a sudden they have to use the race word.
Tim Johnson is the chairman of the Frederick Douglass Foundation. It's essentially African Americans who are Republicans. He says he's been called Uncle Tom. He has been told by countless people that he hates himself. How could he possibly be running in the Republican Party, let alone be part of the conservative movement?
Yeah.
Have you experienced some of the same thing?
Absolutely right. And the thing is, that's all ignorance, because if people go back and understand the history of the Republican Party, that it was founded in 1854, and one of the things was the abolishment of slavery, the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, the civil rights legislation that came out during Reconstruction. This was all because of Republicans.
Colonel, switching gears to a subject that you know well, which is our political and military relations in the Middle East. From your own observations and your own presence there, do you think President Karzai of Afghanistan is unstable? I mean, this morning we have, and he's following you as a guest on the show, I think you know, former Ambassador Peter Galbraith, who says he thinks that President Karzai actually takes drugs, well, that which would be illegal here in the country, in the U.S.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, I spent 2.5 years in Kandahar, Afghanistan, working with the Afghan military, and the number one drug lord and warlord in southern Afghanistan is Karzai's brother. So that's an easy tie. But, the thing you have to look at is when you tell someone that in 18 months you're going to pull out your military support, you could almost understand him wanting to, throw his hat in with the Taliban. And for our president to finally visit Afghanistan, to fly in the middle of the night and 5 or 6 hours of photo ops and leave before the sun came back up, that's not exactly portraying American commitment and strength to President Karzai and to the Afghan people. So maybe the fact that Karzai feels he's going to be abandoned is driving him to taking drugs.
Got to feel for General McChrystal because he's sitting there trying to get his guys and win these people over, and the current leader of Afghanistan is saying, I'm going to invite Iran over, deal with the Chinese economically, and join the Taliban. What do you say to captains and lieutenants who have to lead their men into battle and clear out a city, knowing that?
Well, see, that comes back to understanding the 3 levels of warfare, Brian. There's the strategic, the operational, and the tactical level. America's always went at the tactical level, and you can look back to Vietnam. But it's the strategic level where you develop those overarching goals and objectives. It's the operational level where you look at the theater of operations. And that's where we're losing right here and right now, because China owning so much of our debt can dictate our foreign policy to us, and that's what this president just does not understand.
You're exactly on the mark. The debt problem is almost insoluble and will only get worse if we continue to borrow money. Back to Afghanistan. What should the troops, what should General McChrystal order them to do? I mean, many of the typical poor farmers count on the poppy crop for their very existence, for the food on their table. Yet we know where the results of those poppies are going to end up.
You know, when I was
and we want to win the hearts and minds of the locals.
Yeah, when I was in Afghanistan, I spoke to a State Department official of, why don't we just secure these poppy fields? We could buy it ourselves. We could use it to turn into a positive, being it morphine, and create an exportable crop and a product for Afghanistan, or we could just burn it. Farmers just want, as you said, enough money to take care of his family, but we have to separate the farmer from the Taliban, who uses that for their economic prosperity. The most important thing we got to have happen down there is we got to fix our rules of engagement so that we have the initiative against the enemy and not fighting on defense, which one of the key tenets in the military, you don't win on defense, you win on the offense. And we got to separate the Taliban away from that opium, that poppy crop, and let's turn it into a positive. I think those are the 2 critical things we have to do.
All right, so we have the Afghanistan, you have the experience there, and also in Iraq, where we have to make sure to advance that ball across the goal line because we are this close and the violence is ratcheting up if we take our eye off that. Colonel West, best of luck in the 22nd Florida District. We don't go endorse candidates, but I just think America would be a better place with guys like you in charge.
And it's www.gowest2010.com. Colonel West, it's a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks you, Brian and Judge.
866-40.